So Carlee Russell gave a smile for her mugshot today, Friday, July 28th, 2023. Looks like she had on light makeup. Most people automatically smile for their booking photos just out of habit.
This girl did a glamour shot for this mugshot. This is her mugshot. Oh man, several people sent it to me. I don't want to put your name on it. That's the mugshot. I would tell my client to look like that too. I would tell my client to look like that too. All right, yeah, it was a nice mugshot. And that is a mugshot I would tell my client. Black outfit, hair comb, and smile. That's it. Because people have mugshots. They're going to show it to the jury if it gets to a jury. You don't want that. You don't want that. And if you look ugly, then they're going to show that to the jury eventually. And when people have mugshots that look scary, then that's what they do.
A lot of people don't like the fact that Carlee's mom briefly smiled with their lawyers when exiting attorney Emory Anthony's office today. But attorney Eric Guster, he went live on Facebook, gave us great insight. He said it was the exact mugshot outfit and smile that he would advise his clients to undertake. Just kind of all black, simple. After all, he said you don't want your client really looking kind of out of sorts in their booking photos because those booking photos will last a lifetime or they'll show up in court. But Carlee, when she walked out of her lawyer's office, you could see her dart her eyes briefly towards the camera but then quickly look away. Carlee wore a sleeveless black sheath dress. It kind of zipped up in the back in the Alabama heat as she was seen leaving her attorney's office in Birmingham on Friday morning. She also donned sandals, you could tell, as Carlee's dad, Carlos Russell, protectively opened the back door of their Ford F-150 truck to allow his daughter to climb on up. And you saw Carlee's nails were long and white, but she was pretty much dressed down and simple. For her part, Carlee's mom, Talitha Russell, she wore a hot pink Barbie-colored jumpsuit, and she donned what seemed to be a designer purse at her hip, and she kind of stifled a quick smile too as she walked out of the offices and then quickly disappeared out of the camera's view. So plenty of people were angry today at Carlee seemingly just getting a slap on the wrist, or maybe just a couple of slaps on the wrists for her shenanigans. But the prosecution of Carlee Russell is not over yet. Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis said Carlee had turned herself in and she was released from jail quickly on Friday after posting $2,000 bond.
This afternoon, Carlee Russell, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction.
He was wearing a snazzy suit again today in Friday's press conference, where police told us that Carlee faces only 2 misdemeanor charges for lying to police about being kidnapped and supposedly seeing some toddler on the side of the road on I-459 in Hoover. Now, each of these charges is a Class A misdemeanor, and they carry up to a year in jail, but we don't know if it's over yet. Prior to the Hoover Police Department's announcement that Carlee will be charged for her actions, the family had escaped the glare of the media, who had been eagerly waiting for Carlee at the jail. They wanted to get some kind of perp walk video footage, but it did not work.
That's a police car.
False alarm.
It was all a false alarm. They were going after different cars. This one big black SUV with all these tinted out windows. They thought Carlee might have been in there, but no. Kind of at the end, you could hear them looking for the family's black F-150. But arrest warrants were put out for Carlee's arrest today, Felony Friday, for false reporting to law enforcement and falsely reporting an incident, and Carlee turned herself in and was released after posting bond on Friday. So a lot of people are comparing it to a different case in a different state of an 11-year-old who, got arrested, but this is Alabama, different laws.
11-year-old girl is facing a felony charge this morning after deputies say she texted 911 to report a fake abduction. The stunt is called swatting, and this body cam video shows the moment that 11-year-old was arrested yesterday. Investigators say her call led to a multi-agency response and a search on I-95. That girl told investigators she got the idea from something she watched on YouTube. Deputies say this prank call was one of 3 that the department has received just in the past few weeks. Sheriff Mike Chipwood says that stunt will cost the sheriff's office an estimated $10,000 to $15,000.
Okay, very good question. 11-year-old girl pulled the same stunt and challenge was arrested. That's Florida. Florida has that on the books as a felony. In Alabama, it's a misdemeanor. We can get angry all day. People can be hot under the collar, but the law is a law and you have to follow the law. This offense is a Class A misdemeanor in the state of Alabama. False report an incident and falsely make a statement to law enforcement, and it's simply it's a misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor.
So was it a huge mistake like Carlee's lawyer called it? He's anticipating resolving the matter in court. According to TMZ, Carlee's attorney, Emory Anthony, told TMZ, "What we're dealing with is a young lady who made a huge mistake. She's been arrested and she's been charged and she's eager to finish up and be through with it. She's dealing with some issues." So we don't know what those issues are. I don't know if they'll come out. I was trying to check out her figure to see if she appeared pregnant, but I can't really tell. He concluded, "We will be looking forward to going to court." So indeed, this will be resolved in court. However, Carlee should consider herself fortunate if she gets away with only 2 light charges. We don't know if more charges will be added, and we don't know if her parents will end up being charged with anything. But attorney Eric Guster featured Lanice Washington. She's the district attorney, Jefferson County 10th Judicial Circuit Bessemer. She was featured on Eric Guster's Friday Facebook Live. She said, "They never brought anything to me concerning prosecution of her parents. So if they find something, maybe they won't, I don't know." But she said, "I looked at the parents in the seat of being victims." And she had to clear up too. DA Washington said, "I'm not related to the Russells," because some people were wondering if that was her cousin.
And Steve Marshall's going to take over the case now. And man, she messed up.
But Steve Marshall, Attorney General of Alabama, quote, is going to work his tail off to find as many charges as he can, according to Eric Guster.
Can AG Marshall bring her on additional charges? You can take this to the casino and bet on it. Steve Marshall is going to do his best to find as many charges that he can put on her as he can. He's going to work his tail off to find as many charges as he can.
He anticipated that Steve would get involved. Attorney Guster also said they'll probably set Carlee's court date in 60 days, so we can all just stay tuned and see what charges Carlee actually gets and what time she actually has to serve. Throughout the investigation, more lies are uncovered, and that might mean more charges are coming.
I said, man, Steve Marshall was here at the Crime Stoppers. He got Crime Stopper of the Year award on Wednesday. You can check the Crime Stoppers of Alabama website. He got Crime Stopper of the Year Wednesday. I said, that's what I thought charges were going to happen Wednesday, and I expected him to be a part of it. And Steve Marshall is going to prosecute the case. His office is going to take over, and the case will be tried in Hoover Municipal Court. Hoover Municipal Court, the way that municipal court works, when you have a trial in municipal court, it is a bench trial, which you have a bench trial, and it's very much like Judge Joe Brown. It's very much like something you see on TV. It's just a judge doing a case. If that person is found guilty, for example, you can do what's called you can stipulate an appeal. In municipal court, you only have a bench trial. A judge talks about the case, listens to the case, and finds a person guilty or not guilty. If the person's found guilty, they have the option to stipulate an appeal, to appeal it, meaning it will go up to circuit court at the county courthouse in Bessemer. So it's not at the case. Chief Dervis said that it was referred back to Hoover because it is only misdemeanors. The way these things work, and that's why those of us who've covered this, when there was information that she would be turned into Bessemer, and they were presenting the case to the district attorney of Bessemer, all of us who do this thought felonies. There are no felonies yet. Correct. There are no felonies yet. Steve Marshall is going to review their file to see if Steve Marshall is going to go after her, and Steve Marshall is going to go through their files and see if there are additional charges. One person mentioned something that about Mountain Brook may charge because there was a question about the spa. When I was told that there were 2 misdemeanors, I was told yesterday by a reporter who asked me for a quote about 2 misdemeanors. I was like, there's no theft. There's no obstruction of justice, which was kind of interesting because theft could have been the felony if it's over $500, and obstruction of justice could have been a felony depending on what happened.
In the meantime, Carlee's mom has been pretty mum after speaking out plenty of times during Carlee's disappearance and then giving that huge, big Today Show interview with her husband when Carlee returned home. But now, Talitha isn't giving any interviews. The New York Times contacted Talitha and she said, quote, "Now is not a good time." When she was contacted by the New York Times just hours after Carlee Russell admitted through her attorney that she had faked the whole story about a kidnapping.
The weather is getting bad. They never brought anything to me concerning her parents.
Okay.
Concerning prosecution of her parents.
Okay.
I looked at the parents as in the seat of being a victim.
Can the champ be charged for lying? They cannot be charged for lying on the Today Show. They cannot be charged for lying. If they furthered a crime, they could be charged for that, but they can't be charged for lying. They can't be charged for lying.
So are the parents really victims? People have a bunch of theories. Who picked Carlee up? She had to have had help. Who was it? Even though Carlee claims she had no help during these 49 hours. So what happens next with Carlee's case? We'll have to follow it through the justice system.
The question is, how long do you think it will take for her to go to court? They probably set her a court date within 60 days.
As they uncover more, will they add more charges? Will they be able to add any felony charges? We'll just have to wait and see. But Carlee, the Alpha Kappa Alpha, the debutante, she might find herself getting adjusted to serving some jail time. We'll see. I mean, I serve prison ministry, so I could maybe give her some tips.
People are thinking that you're related to Carlee, and that's not true.
Related?
Yeah, there's about you being her cousin or something, and I told people that you're not related to her to clear that up.
Yes, yes. Let's clear that up. I met the Russells when the world met the Russells.
John 14, 1-3, where Jesus was comforting his disciples, he told them, quote, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am." So what do you think? A lot of people don't like, Carlee's attitude or her parents' attitude or her mom's attitude or the smiling or the whatever. We don't know what everyone's going through. A lot of people want a lot harsher sentences. We could tell Chief Nick Durzis was pretty upset in today's presser, and he's going to to work, to change laws, to get more laws on the books, because rightly so, he talked about the victimization of, not only the people who search for her and put on those yellow vests and really tried to find her thinking she was harmed, thinking this girl was really in trouble. He talked about the loved ones of the victims who have really been kidnapped, where it really did not turn out well. I don't blame him for being hurt and angry over that. And there's probably so many stories of people we don't know what they went through in searching for Carlee, and the worry and the poison ivy and the fear and just the fear of the community is what the chief talked about. So I think this is one where maybe we don't have to overreact and think, slap on the wrist, this little spoiled child, this spoiled debutante got away with it all. We don't know what the fallout will be.
What would warrant a felony theft charge? Anything over $500. There were, if you remember, her Google search was how to steal money out of a cash register and a robe from the spa. I don't know the value of the robe. I don't know if it's some silky smooth robe. I don't know. I don't know how much spa robes cost, but that's what are the possible charges. And Steve Marshall, knowing Steve Marshall, you're gonna file a felony in there somewhere. I just would not be shocked. All right.
But one thing I hope is that Carlee has truly by now learned her lesson, that she uses it to change her heart, to turn around, not only never give a false report again, but also just use it to serve others, to, think more highly of others than we do ourselves. Just use it to, again, mature and to thank God that she got away with this light sentence so far, these light charges. We don't know what her actual sentence will be yet.
Will she do jail time? I fully expect it.
And I've told reporters today, it's not prison time on misdemeanors and traffic violations. It's jail time if you serve any.
But, just knowing that it could have been a lot worse. Thank God no one that I know of lost their lives while searching for Carlee. But, it could have been. It could have been very dangerous. So I hope she realizes whatever is happening. I hope she gets the help to turn her mentality around, her spirit and her soul around, to just truly serve others, not do this again, not act like a spoiled brat. I don't know. We'll go from there. Stay tuned. We'll keep following it. Thanks so much for watching.
Is this case going to be televised? Knowing Steve Marshall, it might be. The two charges, no matter what Marshall tried to find, aren't they still going to be misdemeanor? Not necessarily. Depends on what else she may be accused of doing. The state has up to a year to bring charges on someone. So if she stole something, there's a alleged theft from her job. If it was over $500, that could be a misdemeanor. If she did something while she was missing for 49 hours, which is a big deal, did she do something illegal during that time? So at that time, it was it's funny. At that time, they will review the charges as well. Don't forget about me. Go on, give me that 5 stars on Google saying I explain great things right. And this is my law firm, Augusta Law Firm. We handle auto accidents and wrongful death cases, primarily in Central Alabama, but we travel nationwide when there is a wrongful death or a serious injury. We'd love to help you. And that, my law firm, allows me to take time to do this because we make money in a law firm. I can take time to explain things to you. And like I said, man, go and give me those 5 stars because all that stuff helps.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaliba with the Hoover Police Department, and we're here today to provide you with the latest update in the Carlee Russell investigation. Joining me at the podium today will be Police Chief Nick Durzis, followed by Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall. Chief Durzis will make a prepared statement. After Chief Durzis' statement is over with, Attorney General Marshall will also offer a few comments. Once that is completed, both gentlemen will return to the podium and you guys will have an opportunity to ask questions. With that, I will turn it over to Chief Durzis.
Thank you, Captain. Good afternoon. Earlier today, Hoover Police detectives obtained warrants for the arrest of Carlee Russell through the Hoover Municipal Court for her actions related to faking her kidnapping and subsequently making false statements to detectives as they investigated this case. Her decisions that night created panic and alarm for the citizens of our city and even across the nation as the concern grew that a kidnapper was on the loose using a small child as bait. Numerous law enforcement agencies, both local and federal, began working tirelessly not only to bring Carlee home to her family, but locate a kidnapper that we know now never existed. Many private citizens volunteered their time and energy into looking for a potential kidnapping victim that we know now was never in any danger. This story opened wounds for families whose loved ones really were victims of kidnappings, some of which even helped organize searches in hopes they could find Carlee's alive so that her family would not experience the pain and suffering that they felt when their loved ones never returned home. As we know, actions can have consequences, and that's why we're here today. This afternoon, Carlee Russell, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction. Ms. Russell was released from jail after posting bond. We initially presented this case to District Attorney Lanice Washington, who agreed to handle prosecution through district court. After consulting with the Circuit Court of Jefferson County Bessemer Division, the case was referred back to municipal court for charging because the only applicable charges were misdemeanors. Judging from the amount of phone calls and emails that we've received from people all over the country, I know many are shocked and appalled that Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors, despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing laws only allow the charges that were filed to be filed. I can tell you that I will be contacting our state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery and asking them to look at this law applied to these facts and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports kidnapping or another violent crime. Because of the attention this case has garnered, we've requested Attorney General Steve Marshall's office adopt this case, and they've agreed to do so. The Hoover Police Department wants to thank everyone that assisted us from the beginning and continues to assist us in this case as we work its way through the criminal justice system. Joining me at the podium today is the State of Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall.
Thank you, Chief. Let me begin by commending Hoover Police Department Chief Durgis for his leadership in this investigation. Obviously, this captured many's attention as a result of not only the allegations themselves, but also the concern about a possible victim in being able to return her home. The work that was done by the Hoover Police Department was monumental in its lift, and the results of that work you are seeing come to fruition today with the charges that have been levied. I also want to commend the many other men and women of both state and federal law enforcement for their work collaboratively with the Hoover Police Department in assisting in this investigation. Chief, appreciate the opportunity to be able to partner with you in this prosecution. We will dedicate a team to be able to help the city of Hoover in handling these 2 individual charges and look forward to bringing this case to fruition. One thing I would add is that we don't see this as a victimless crime. There are significant hours spent, resources expended as a result of this investigation. And not only that, but the many men and women who are civilians that wore those yellow vests on a hot afternoon and evening looking for someone they thought was abducted, trying to be of assistance. We intend to fully prosecute this case and look forward to working with the Hoover Police Department moving forward. We also would tell you that we will continue to monitor this investigation to determine whether or not there are any additional charges that need to be brought, and we'll evaluate those as the facts are presented.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll open the floor to questions. If you'll please raise your hand and identify yourself and your affiliation when I call on you. Dave.
I'm CBS 42. This question for Mr. Attorney General. What is it about this case
to the level to where it was a case that you wanted to take on and be involved in?
We handle cases across the state. We have jurisdiction throughout for both misdemeanors and felonies, and when Chief Durgis asked for our assistance, we were more than happy to be able to assist.
Is it common for you all to be involved in misdemeanors like a case like this?
It's not uncommon.
Right here.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610, 100.1 FM, Summit Media. Chief, this question is for you.
Yes.
What time was Carlee arrested with her attorney, and has she made bail?
She has. She was processed in our facility within the past hour.
Do you expect any charges to be forthcoming with her parents, or is this just all on Carlee at this point?
At this point, and again, I think anything is, all as the Attorney General said, their team will also be searching through our files, and we'll find out what they say.
Carol?
Carol Robinson with AL.com. Have you, since we spoke last in the press conference, been able to retrace where she was during the 49 hours she was missing, and have you determined if she was with anyone else during that time?
We have not found anything out on either one of your two questions.
Right here.
Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News. Has there been any decision about a possible civil suit against Carlee and or her family? Also, what impact would this have on Hoover Police Department filing a suit have on the criminal case as well?
Yeah, we have not discussed that. Of course, we talked about the hours of overtime and all the significant resources that we used, and we'll certainly be talking to the Attorney General's office about possibly getting some of those funds returned to us.
Lisa Crane, WBTN 13. In an earlier press conference, you outlined some items she had taken from her employer. Any potential theft charges for that?
Those would have taken place in another jurisdiction, so we would not have charges ourselves.
Ashley Robinson, WBRC. Chief, do you mind repeating those charges and fines one more time for us?
Sure. False reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor with $1,000 bond. Falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond.
Chief, I know you mentioned this the last time we were together. Just wondering if you have any update on an idea of the cost that the Hoover Police Department expended in those 48, 49 hours Carlee Russell was missing. And one final question, do you at this point have any more information if Carlee Russell acted alone or anyone helped her?
Yeah, we have not finished, obviously, the 49 hours. We've been certainly busy since her return, so I still don't have a total on that, and we don't have any idea where Carlee Russell was 49 hours.
Right here.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610. Chief, let me ask you this. Going forward, there's been a lot of concern in the community as per young black and brown females being reported missing. Would Hoover and other agencies have the same fervor going forward as they did with the case with Carlee Russell?
Absolutely. This, as I said initially, our focus was bringing Carlee home, and she got home. And then our focus has been to find out if there was a kidnapping. We found out there's not. We work every case like all other law enforcement does, so I don't have any concern anywhere that would be an issue.
And can I echo what Chief said? I've been in law enforcement for 27 years.
Yes, sir.
Law enforcement throughout this state. I've never seen anybody interested in the color of your skin in investigating a criminal case. And I expect, regardless of your gender, your race, when that report is filed, that Alabama law enforcement is going to do its job.
Valerie, ABC 3340, when she arrived to the jail today, and is she seeking any help at this point in time?
I was not there, so I really can't tell you exactly, and I really don't know anything else.
All right, last question.
Ashley Robinson, WBRC. Chief, what are next steps after this? What is going to happen next?
Well, right now, the Attorney General's office attorneys will start dealing with our detectives and going through case files and preparing prosecution, I presume.
All right. Thank you guys very much.
Will y'all be releasing a mugshot?
Yes, we will momentarily.
Thank you.
Thank you.